King Arthur is back. Yes, so today we are going to be discussing about the ins and outs of King Arthur by, I believe it's pronounced Nimue. First, the final product. I will be inserting photos, of course, of close-up of some of the stitching, but this is the frame. I'm gonna try not to get a glare with it or hit the ceiling fan. They did a really good job on it. I chose a frame that was not solid black, but has kind of like flecks in it. And I thought the wood goes really nicely with the overall color scheme. Very happy with it though. Very happy with it. This is definitely a point of pride for me because this was like one of the more detailed ones that I've ever worked on. So I'm very excited to be taking this to the stitching retreat as one of my finishes. Before I move on to the chart, talking about that, and I'll be doing some close-ups of the chart in just a moment, but small work in progress on my Teresa Wentzlers that I've talked about. This is Castle Ridge. As you can see, I've done a fair amount of work on it. I started this on 9/3. And here's what I'm doing for the blended threads. So I'm taking a card and I'm writing down the symbol and then kind of like getting a chunk of the thread ready for when I use it, so I don't have to spend a lot of time separating out threads during the stitching. I can just get straight to stitching. So that works out really well. And then just another little close-up of it. And a reminder of what it's supposed to look like. Sorry about that glare. So yeah, really happy with it. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, actually. I have made a few mistakes, but that's just with counting. That's no part of the designer's fault. You really have to pay attention, I think, on Teresa Wentzler's. Alright, let me go ahead and get you in close, and I will discuss about the issues that I've had with the chart and kind of talk about King Arthur in general. So I did want to mention before I continue, since I am doing a review of this product, I am going to be showing portions of the chart. This is in no way meant to like get around copyright issues or anything like that. This is a fair use review. I am not posting any parts of the chart for people to use. This is merely pointing out portions of the chart that I had issues with and that I'd like to point out before people buy. So first I'm going to discuss about the symbols and some of the difficulties that I had with it. There's a lot going on right here. So over here you have your threads and then your specialty threads as well. But this specific two sections are meant to be used along with blending filament. So this is one blending filament symbol. So whenever you see these symbols, it's used alongside with this blending filament. These are also blends. But yeah. So, and then these are blends of just the regular colors using one strand of each. This backstitch stuff I had a lot of difficulty with. The colors are very similar, and at least for me, it was just kind of a lot to go over. I won't be able to really show you any great examples of these, but it did get very confusing in when I was supposed to use what color, where I was supposed to use it. Really kind of towards the end, I was kind of winging it with how I felt something looked. So let's move on to some of the similarities between the colors or symbols. Down this side is also the different colors that you would use without blending. So these are all the colors that you have. Now, I'd like you to take a look at this symbol here. And then this symbol here. So there's 400, which looks a bit like a star right there. I will highlight it in the video. And then also this here. These are extremely similar when you're stitching them. And I will show you exactly where. So in this area, you can see the symbols there. When I was stitching them, I did mistake them for the 400 symbol. And while stitching it, it didn't make sense, and I'll insert some photos of what I saw. So you can immediately tell when something has gone wrong, but I was so confused by this, I didn't notice the symbol down here. My brain either blanked on me or I didn't see it or something like that. So all I could ever see was the symbol for 400, which confused the heck out of me because I was like, well, there's a mistake in the chart. So I even reached out to the person who sold me the design, and they reached out to the designer, who then got back to them to let me know, hey, there's this symbol down here, which kind of made me feel stupid. But at the same time, I was like, yeah, we should maybe make these a little bit different symbols. So the good thing about King Arthur with this chart is that the face area and the hands are blown up into this larger chart. There we go. So it's blown up into this larger chart here with the face and the hands. And a lot of these areas are worked 1/1. So if you are familiar with Mirabilia, a lot of people work skin 1/1. Thankfully, I did not do it for the entirety of King Arthur's skin, but there are some sections here that do require the petite stitches, which means basically instead of you're making one X over one area, you're making 4 tiny X's over one area. In hindsight, I should have probably used just one strand. I did use 2 strands, and I think it came out a little bit chunky, but I was able to... It still looks great. The end result still looks great. But one strand probably would have been better. There are some beading in this area here. I left these out because I didn't really like how they looked. I didn't get why there was only 2. I feel like there should have been a 3rd, and I didn't want to chart a 3rd. So I just left these 2 clusters of beads out. I also left the beads out on the cuff. I didn't really like how it looked. This symbol right here, these like square dots, I cannot for the life of me figure out what color they were supposed to be. When you look at this area on the larger chart, let me find it. So the area on the larger chart is these like teardrop looking things. Here we go. Macro view. So these teardrop looking things, as you can see, the chart is a little bit different over here with the dots. So I did go with the teardrops, but yeah, there is like a slight inconsistency with the chart there, which did cause some confusion. I will go ahead and insert some shots of this in close-up. So as you can see, the beading went really well. I used invisible thread. Didn't have really any issues working with it. The beads are really pretty. They came out very nice. I love how the face came out. I will insert some terrifying, like, in-between shots of how the face looks while you're making it. I didn't have a lot of faith in it, to be honest. I was like, there's no way this is going to work out. But the backstitching came out really nice. I love the hands. The hands I love also. The sword beading, the little fluffy thread that you use. So you can see how I left out the beads on the main breastplate. I think it looks nicer without them. And I felt that the beads on the cuff were a little bit too distracting, so I did leave those off also. But that's a personal choice. You can leave those in or not. The brooch came out really nice, I think. You can see the little beads on his collar. The hair was a nightmare for backstitching. There's a lot of different colors that they call for, and kind of towards the end, I was kind of just over it and just picked whatever I thought looked really good. Yeah. There's a little bead, couple of beads on the eye of the dragon statue. But yeah, overall, honestly, really very pleased with the end product. I would definitely suggest this as an intermediate stitcher. This is not the first project you want to be jumping in on. I definitely suggest making a working copy, if only so you don't cover up the backstitching. I had to work off of the backstitching from the original copy. Obviously, I didn't mark the copy up, but once you're done highlighting, you're not going to be able to see the backstitching color that well. And it's kind of hard to see in general also. I will leave a link below to the shop that I bought the kit from. I believe they have it on a back order, so like there's only so many kits that come out of it. Again, the kit that I bought came with everything except for the DMCs, but it came with all the embellishments, all the like extra filling thread, that kind of thing, and the beads, as well as the fabric, which is linen. Alright, well, I hope that you guys all enjoyed this review of King Arthur, and next time, I don't know what, there might be just a work in progress video on my Mirabilia and my Teresa Wentzler. So, see you guys next time.